Welcome to another episode of the State of the Bulldog. Sam, Mike, Jeb, and Grant. Grant and I tonight coming off the heels of an expected loss, but another loss nonetheless.
Points.
0-3. We did get points in an awesome way. 42-7 on the road against the Baylor Bears, with Western Carolina coming up this weekend on the road. But first, Baylor. Grant, you spoke with the
Waco Tribune Herald out of Waco, Texas. I got to jump on their little podcast for like 10, 15 minutes. Yeah, good guy. Talked a little before, and I was wearing my Masters quarter zip. He's like, "Did you go to the Masters?" Like, he was freaking out when he saw my quarter zip. So he was like, "I can't." He's like, "I'm so jealous you're wearing that quarter zip." Yeah, it's cool to actually get Samford talk. I did have somebody joke with me that like we talked about the offense and like all this
charmed life, Grant. It's a charmed life you live.
I know, right? All this offense, how Samford. He was like, "It must be really fun to watch, right?" And in my mind, I'm like, it used to be fun.
It used to be. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
so
even then, it used to be knowing that we had to score 50 because we were going to let up 40.
Exactly. The most diplomatic way possible. Like, it used to be kind of fun, but now it's like, ugh, but which we'll get into.
Yeah, let's talk about the article. We're not going to focus too much on the Baylor game, but one thing we did really appreciate was the site Come 365. The writer Sam Bradshaw put together, took a pretty deep dive over the last what did he do? 5 years basically of 3 to 5 seasons of Samford stats and statistical trends, and highlighted what we all know, what we've all seen, but it is pretty shocking to look at some of these numbers. So Grant, hit us with some of these awesome hatch attack stats.
Awesome. So much exciting. I mean, we've talked about in the past, obviously, for last year, beginning of this year, just the inability to score points. We've gone through the deep, high-level numbers we've scored. Last year's few amount of points Samford scored in a season, like all those different stats. But this kind of went deep, in depth. And Sam here went through the offensive stats and the defensive stats too. But the offense is kind of where it's like oh boy, like it looks bad, but then you get the numbers, it's actually this bad. So basically, it goes on to say the Samford offense has trended downward since 2022 with declines in yards per drive, points per red zone trip, turnovers, yards per play, explosiveness, scoring drive percentage, and turnover drive percentage. So just how deep you went into all of it. And so you looked at the last 4 years and those numbers. We'll just go to 2024. 2024, Samford had 28 yards per drive. That's down from 37.2 in 2023, 38.4 in 2022, which was Samford's big playoff year. Points per red zone trip was down from 4.76 to 4.15. Turnovers went up. Yards per play went up. So in 2022, Samford was about 6 yards per play up, just a shade under that. In 2024, Samford was 4.9 yards per play. So same with that. Total yards in 2022, Samford had 450 total yards. Samford in 24 had averaged 359 total yards. So basically, just illuminates everything we've kind of seen and kind of talk about. But when you actually see it written down from someone who actually has the time to do it and give us this kind of information, it's like oh boy, this is exactly the decline that we have seen with our own eyes.
Yeah, it's what's worse. Okay, it's one thing to not score, but the turnovers ticking up. I mean, doubling basically from 22 to 24, quadrupling from 22 to 25. That just exacerbates every kind of problem you have on offense. And then the third down percentage, shocking, but I guess that comes with the territory, but still shocking, 38% this year, up from 34% last year. That's not going to get it done. As we've seen.
Yeah, and to that point, third down percentage in 2022, almost 50% of the time Samford was converting on third down to 34% at 24, and then after Saturday, probably around 35 to 36% in 2025. So yeah, this was super in depth, and so he just goes on to say their average on third down, and don't stay on the field all that well, even if fourth down is utilized. So he goes even more in depth. And for YouTube and Spotify, there's some graphs, percentage of drives ending in turnovers. He goes through all that too. Some red zone numbers as well. Some red zone comparisons where Samford compared to the rest of the FCS. And as he put it, they were bad in the red zone last year, but not too far off. So far, they've been abysmal behind their completely new offensive line. And he just goes into the offensive pass game. That's down as well. 69% completion in 2024, down from 74%. Yards per game, we've touched on this. 304 in 2022, 244 last year in 2024. Yards per attempt, same thing, 6.52. Yards per completion is down a whole yard basically, and then sack percentage has gone up over 1.5% from 2022 to 2025. The picks, interceptions went up as well last year.
Yeah, we've always had 5.9 being the best, quote unquote. I have no idea what an average sack percentage is for an offensive line,
Yeah.
but 7% certainly feels high. Certainly feels high, especially
Yeah,
considering how much we throw.
exactly. Even he put it. They complete a lot of passes, albeit for relatively short yards per completion, which is typical of the classic air raid, a dink and dunk monitor, kind of get the ball out quick. Everything we've talked about and seen over the last few years. Then they've gotten worse in sack percentage and interception percentage. So he goes to the offensive passing game. He even goes down to the offensive run game. As he puts it, the run game has fallen off a cliff. They have a dual threat QB who has started the last 2 years, and he's been the only part of the run game with consistent yardage. Back with a pride pocket passer, their line was better and they were effective. It just goes to
Though, yeah,
yards per rushed 2022 4.14 down to 1.9 this year. Non-sack carry yards are up as well, so like everything has gone up. But then run play percentage in 2024 was 43%. That's around where we've seen it before, but again, it's kind of where the QB run with the dual threat has been non-existent this year for sure, and it was better last year.
and the line gets zero movement. I think my biggest gripe with the hatch attack is it doesn't necessarily recruit an offensive lineman that is going to come off the ball really hard in the run game and give you that movement, because it does seem like if we want to win a good, like when the SoCon, obviously SoCon's down this year, but when the SoCon is back, it'll inevitably be back. A physical run game would be a difference maker with the defense. This no defense hatch attack does not win nearly enough in our conference, much less in the FCS in general. So that stat is probably the most damning out of all of them. I mean, 1.9 yards per rush in 2025 is abysmal. Absolutely abysmal.
Yeah, couldn't run at all against West Georgia. Then they run for 95 yards against Baylor. CJ Evans had some nice runs. He was the team's leading rusher, but yeah, just couldn't move the ball at all. Obviously, West Georgia moved the ball better on Citadel. Turnovers led to the 13 points. So yeah, this is super in depth for anybody who wants to go see more graphs, more charts, and everything. So yeah, just the decline. It's really good to kind of see these offensive numbers rather than us just saying, "Oh gosh, this offense is bad," and here's why it has been bad relative to what we have seen and when we were in school, what it was up with Devlin, Duck, and all the QBs we've had.
Yeah, the interesting thing on flipping over to the defensive side is it's not as bad as it maybe could be, but we know that, like especially this year, the defenses can be okay, and we knew last year the defense was certainly an improvement from the prior year, and if we had had an inkling of a defense in 22, we would have stood a better shot of beating North Dakota State, even though in that one particular game the defense played outstanding.
Yeah, they did.
But it was good to see, after looking through the terrible offensive stats, it was good to see that the defense tries to make us look a little bit better from a statistical standpoint.
Yeah, exactly. Because before COVID, it was like, oh yeah, all this offense and the defense, like, oh gosh, if we could just get one stop, like compare the two. Of course, 10 years later, the offense is taking a downturn and the defense has actually stayed average enough to where you can actually win games, but the offense just let them down multiple times last year and have this year so far.
That's what feels so bad. This defense, we could be taking advantage of it. Easily split the Citadel West Georgia 2 games. Easily split one of them if we had had an adequate offense, but we don't, and we're wasting a competitive defense who would give us a chance at winning enough games to be to make the conference season spicy, but no. Alas, no offense to score any points, to even do anything with this defense.
Then he went defensive pass game, struggled to get sacks, have done a better job of generating interceptions, got 2 against Sawyer Robertson, but yeah, stopping the run, stopping the pass, obviously. Samford gave up 62% completion compared to 2022 was 59%. Again, Samford always has a high completion, so you can take that with a grain of salt. You kind of actually have to watch the games to kind of see where that kind of comes from. Sack percentage did go up in a rate with last year from a 4.5% sack percentage to 9.4 last year. So Samford was good at getting after the quarterback, only 4% so far this year. But again, it just goes to the size and kind of the experience that the defensive line has had before this year with all new guys other than Cunningham.
That is a crazy jump. That's Johnny Johnson right there. I think he had like 7 sacks or 8 sacks, but
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, same. Even with defensive run game, that has gone up just a little bit. But yeah, it's really the only time giving up big runs is when the offense leaves them in bad spots or they've been on the field for so long. It's like, oh gosh, we have to stop them again. And sure enough, you just get tired, out of breath, playing all those snaps. But yeah, this was good. Just kind of see the defensive, like you said, just competent enough, but the offense been letting them down for the last two and a half years.
even the special teams part was interesting. The punt return average, we doubled it from last year, but I would say 13 yards is pretty good so far this season. If we could keep that up, that's a free first down basically on every punt, and we
Yep.
need it with our offense. And but then you look at the opponent kick return average, not great. But opponent punt return average is very good. So the special teams kind of a mixed bag, but I feel like that is an area where we haven't just totally been terrible. Although West Georgia did run one back on us, we can take that one out, and I bet the stats look even better. So
And then on the other side, Samford returned a punt against Citadel, and that was called back for a legal block in the back. So,
oh, that's right, that's
so
right.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's why I
okay. So
was,
you take away the
yeah.
bad in West Georgia, you give us the good in Citadel, and then we're cooking on special teams. But no, and Grant, while you were running through that, I was trying to see if Sikkim 365 was part of like the Rivals or 247 network.
Mhm,
They are part of a network, F5 Sports, but I
mhm.
don't know what that is. So
It's
they're
standalone.
they may be pretty independent, which is cool because this is an awesome site. Um, so thank you to Sam Bradshaw for putting that together because
He did.
that
He
took a
did
lot
put
of
his
time.
last exactly a lot of time going up. I kind of wish we had the time to kind of do that. But shout out to Sam for helping us out with that and giving us 13 minutes of podcast material there. But yeah, he did post his final thoughts. I expect this to be among the easier FCS games for Baylor since they started covering these matchups when RG3 was in school. Only 2021 Texas Southern might compare. How
So savage, so savage. I mean, how poor of a comparison is that? I mean, he's spot on, but how bad is it? How bad of a look is that for us?
in
I mean, it's a
2021 Texas,
terrible football team.
yeah, Southern went 3-8 that year. Baylor beat them 66-7. So take that. No, I'm just kidding. But it also helps when Hatcher has relationships with the coaches on the other side, and they take it a little bit easy in the second half too, which is what I kind of hoped would happen. And I did say Samford would score, so at least I got something right compared to the first 2 weeks where I said they were
Grant,
not
throw
losing the
that
first
clip
2
up.
weeks.
Throw that clip up. That's been the highlight of the season. One of the wackiest plays ever. Um, I think someone on Twitter had said, "Well, please get us the hang time on this throw." It was ridiculous watching it because I was still watching the game at this point. I think I turned it off when they got to like 21-7 or 20, once it was clear that we had no prayer. Well, that was from the kick, but I mean, just an absolutely wild play. And we were joking before, if we don't catch it in the end zone, we're not scoring on that play. Like they're just going to hit us for 3 straight TFLs, and we're going to miss the field goal. So
I've never seen.
love to see that. CJ Evans, baby, first
Yeah,
passing touchdown of the season.
yeah. 12, or actually when it's thrown back, I've never seen a 20-yard pass go up so high in the air that it goes out of the camera view and comes down out of the sky. Luckily, Tory Ward is 6'3", 6'4" to help him out and go up and kind of high point that. But yeah,
It's crazy. I mean, Baylor's got some slow. 27 is slow if he can't get back to that ball.
yeah. I
Certainly
think it
no
was
baseball players on this team.
exactly. I think it was Barstool who tweeted. He tweeted out the video and they said jackpot, dead or alive. I said, oh, that's so good.
That's so good. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, a lot of
Oh
a lot of
man,
jackpot. A lot of jackpot jokes there. But yeah,
just a
have we
crazy play.
at least we got a viral clip out of it. Even CJ Evans, he posted a clip of one of the like aggregator accounts on Instagram, and he captured it. He said, Man, I'm just a running back. Chill.
I mean, this
And
is
yeah,
what kind of put a little bit of fear into the stadium. However, if they were watching, and especially because we got to pick the next series,
yeah,
and
and
then
then
then just gave it right back. But
yeah, turned it over and 3 plays
and
again. Never seen that. Yeah,
well, what I hated about that turnover is I hate the wide receiver screen, which is what we do basically every other play. And of course we turn it over in a stupid wide receiver screen. It just, I don't like it. I know everyone in America runs it, and I'm certainly in the minority, but
yeah. To the ops, it was to your sideline, but it was farther. You're on the left hash too. That's a long throw, and obviously Baylor's going to be able to run faster east to west than you are. So like they
oh
got to that
really?
Jaden. Yeah, well, shocking, right?
We can get to the Western game now, but we should ask: is Quincy going to continue to start? I mean, we don't score. Obviously, this game does not really count in anyone's analysis. Um, but I guess you trot Quincy out there for one last hurrah and see if he can put up any points because I mean we can start with Western's defense, but they're terrible. They average 44 points a game, 5.5 yards per rush, 9.8 yards per pass attempt, and 541 yards a game. And Grant, they've played Wake Forest, but you don't even have, you can take those out and those numbers actually get worse. Um,
Yeah,
Against Gardner Webb, it's a
Red zone
problem.
Robbie's not really throwing it over the yard either. So
The Probably the worst quarterback that they'll face all season. But Gardner Webb gave up 52 points, or they go up 52 points to Gardner Webb, who runs the option, about 335, 340 yards on the ground, and then 37 points against Elon, who plays another SoCon team this week. So Elon and Gardner Webb too. Elon, Gardner Webb, West Georgia, all these schools get a little SoCon treatment. But yeah, Western's defense, not the strength of the team. 0-3, as I said, losses to Gardner Webb, Wake, and Elon. Um, so it's going to provide an opportunity. It's going to provide an opportunity for Quincy and this offense to uh, get one last bite of the apple before we can put all the nail before the last nail of the coffin of the season gets in. Because if we don't show any signs of life here, this is like the last one. I mean, VMI and Wofford maybe have as bad of defenses, but uh, we thought Citadel was going to be a nice warm up game. That was not the case, and Western presents the same exact challenge. So if it's the same exact result and we have no points, I feel like the only option is benching Quincy at that point. It literally can't get worse from a offensive production standpoint when you talk about points.
then you throw in the turnovers as well. Was it 6 fumbles lost, 5 interceptions, 6 interceptions? Yeah, you've got 11 to 12 turnovers, 3 games, one FBS game. You still won the turnover battle there, a 2-1 against Baylor. But yeah, it's like at what point can you keep throwing your senior quarterback out there if you're moving the ball well, going down the field like we saw against Citadel? Then the 2 bad red zone interceptions. How long a leash can you keep going with that, especially 4 games in against a SoCon opponent?
Yeah, we'll see. But like I said, defensively, they have a few guys that stand out. Their star defensive player, Jordan Thompson, linebacker, got a decent safety in Bo Simpson and Neely. Bo Simpson Neely, pretty sweet name. And then on the D line, Sean Morris leads the team in sacks. I think he has 2, if I'm remembering correctly. He he might have himself a day against the interior of our very porous offensive line. So depending on our strategy, Sean might pad some stats. But with that said, offensively, Western's going to be really strong. This is the first game back for Taron Dickens, their returning quarterback, who lit us up last year. 408 yards, 3 touchdowns, did throw a pick. But anytime you throw for 400 yards,
It's
it's a
going to
good day.
happen.
It's a good day, and it's at their house. Don't love that. They've been waiting for him to get back. We heard it was academic issues or whatever. Like I said last week, I don't know how you become eligible in September. I don't know how you become ineligible before
Yeah.
September. I think that's another question. But I know they do things a little bit differently in North Carolina with regards to academics. Some schools just don't have classes for their athletic program, but Jeb is not here to defend said program, so we won't name it. But they are the Tar Heels. So the Catamounts presumably are going to be looking even better on offense. They put up 45 against Gardner Webb, 31 against Elon. only 10 against Wake, but they have not been suffering from a lack of output like we have. Their two wide receivers, James Tyre, 5'10", 175, leading receiver, with 182 yards, and Malik Knight, who was preseason second team all conference at 6'2", 185, has 153 yards. So two very good wide receivers. The fun fact about James Tyre, Grant, is he almost led the team in rushing against Elon. He had 60 yards. Running back Patrick Boyd at 63, but kind of fun there. So he gets the ball. He's an athlete. They find ways to get him the ball because he makes plays. The interesting note for Western, other than their quarterback coming back, is Branson Adams. He was the preseason all-conference running back, but after the Gardner-Webb game where he saw limited action, he's almost seen no action. One or two carries against Wake, one or two carries against Elon. Not sure if it's an injury, not sure if it's academic related, practice related, who knows. But that was one thing that I did notice, is that their star running back is not part of the offense yet, or a key contributor of the offense. So this Western team certainly has room to grow. The offensive line's huge. I think they have two guys who have played thus far this season who are under 300 pounds, and they're 295 pounds. So that doesn't really even count. But the offensive line's always been a strength for Coach Bell. So we should see an offensive explosion if our guys can get it. This game may be 45, 35, 45, 42 if we put up some points, because their defense does love to give them up.
Gosh, I'd do anything for a 48-40. Even if we lose, I'd do anything for a 48-45. You could be like, I guess just on the road we just can make enough plays. But yeah, 48-45. Western, like you said, has had trouble stopping the run as well. CJ Evans had Samford ran for 95 yards on Baylor. Could they have that same success against Western when rushing? Gardner-Webb had 24 successful plays when it came to a situational run, and then Gardner-Webb, like you said, or Elon ran the ball pretty well too. Elon had 16 successful plays when rushing. Can Samford find some way to kind of get some yards on the ground? Elon ran for 159 against Western, and Gardner-Webb ran for ran for 341 with 6.2.
They run the
there
option.
You go.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah, yes,
It wasn't just like hand off left and right for 300 yards.
Yeah. Okay. At 341 rushing yards, 6 yards per play, EPA 12.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they had 24 successful plays while rushing. They had 7 explosive plays while running too. So can Samford try to find somewhere? They couldn't run the ball at all against West Georgia, who just beat ETSU this past weekend. So West Georgia's a top 25 team. But can Samford find success on the ground? Can they limit the turnovers? Again, same discussion we had with Quincy, or do you go to Stober? And then same with the freshman wide receivers. They've grown up a little bit. Torrey Ward obviously caught the CJ Evans one touchdown catch. Will we see a quarterback complete? Will we see a Samford quarterback throw a touchdown pass? Because we haven't seen that the first 3 weeks.
I think we will. I think I do think the season's over. Like, I think we're going to lose this game. We'll drop to 0-2 in conference play, and at that point, the playoff is not anywhere near your sights.
Yeah.
Because even in a year where the league is this weak, I think the conference champ is still just going to have one loss, whoever it may be. And we'll get to the SoCon results in a minute. But I mean, Grant, Quincy's got to get his touchdown this week. He's got to find the mojo. I mean, yeah, if you take the turnovers away, if you have some efficiency in the red zone against Citadel, we probably win that game. We had enough offensive yardage production to win the game. So if you wanted to take the positive out of the Citadel game, there was nothing to take out of the West Georgia game. Absolute domination.
Yeah, nothing.
But it's a similar level of defense, putrid, that has a higher caliber of athlete, but still no discipline. They don't tackle. I mean, it's just not a good defense. So they're going to give you the chance. We're going to score points. Quincy's going to score at least 2 touchdowns through the air.
Okay.
But we're still losing.
Yeah, I did go back through the fact book as we've been having to go deep in the archives trying to find stats in the first three games of the season. Should Samford lose to Western, that would be an 0-4 start. The last time Samford started 0-4 was 1985.
That's tough.
Was the last time. The last 4-game losing streak was 2018. Other times we have gone 0-4 in our history were 1984. Gosh, the mid 80s were rough when it came to Sanford football. Kim Alsop was the coach. There's some bad numbers in there, some bad records. Obviously,
well, that was around the time we disbanded.
Yeah, that's right. We didn't have a team from 74 to 83. I wrote that down. So yeah.
So we were just coming back. Just
coming back. That makes sense.
That makes sense.
And then other 0-4 starts happened in the 50s and 40s. So like, again, making bad history once again. And going back there, Pat Sullivan never lost 4 straight games in his time at Samford as well. So that's another thing to look
but
to,
I mean, he's one of the best coaches, players, figures in college football. That's a high bar.
We've also had 3-game losing streaks in the Hatcher era, 2015, 2023, and then last year as well. So yeah, some bleak numbers in here.
Grant's throwing daggers tonight. 3-game losing streaks. Tough.
I'm going deep in the fact, but yeah. Passing touchdowns. I didn't go back through the points because that would have taken a while. It's like, is this a?
Oh, this is safely with the worst offensive.
Assume,
it has to be.
Yeah, 3 points, 13 and 7. So yeah,
it's so poor. But I mean, with that said, we're going to score points this week. The problem is, Mr. Dickens is back at quarterback for the Catamounts, and he's a problem. And so he might go for 500.
Yeah, teams don't just flip the switch either. I guess we won't turn it over this week, like we kind of are.
No, that's your DNA.
Even 3 games. Yeah.
No, that isn't in this team's DNA for sure. Yeah. Grant, any? I would love your score prediction.
I was thinking a lower scoring, but since going over the Western defense, yeah.
What if it turns into a defensive struggle? I feel like that'd be a terrible sign for both teams.
Exactly. Yeah, Dickens is completely off base. Hasn't any practice time. He's all over the place throwing interceptions. But let's see, Samford in game 1, West Georgia had the kickoff return third quarter, and then against Citadel
with brutal.
I know. This is so bad basketball. Lenny, save us, please.
Seriously, dude.
Against Citadel, it was the fake field goal gone horribly wrong, returned the other way. That was a pick 6, and then a Bird fumble. So yeah, Citadel scored 21 non-offensive points. Can Samford somehow find a way to? Let's
just give up 7.
Yeah, exactly. You cut those out. I can live with a couple turnovers if we don't give up the dumb cheap touchdowns. But filibustering to say, Western 31, Samford 21.
That feels, so you're going 52 total points. That feels a little low. If Western's clicking, they easily hit 40 this week. I bet it's Western 45, Samford 28. And it feels close maybe for the first quarter, but
yeah,
Western was ahead of Elon, failed to pull away. I don't think they make that same mistake twice, because Western could easily be 2-1, but sadly they're 0-3, and they're going to be a team that knows that they're good, or at least has the potential to be good. And they're taking away very different lessons than we are from the first 3 games, and they're going to come out here, prove a point, and it's just not
with their quarterback back and kind of like the energy,
igniting the engine, ready to get everything back in rhythm. I mean, with that said, you could have a game where he comes out and he's rusty. I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't know what an academic suspension entails. Like, I'm sure he can practice.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. And he practiced in fall camp because they were posting all these pictures. Like when the rumors first started, he was out there practicing.
It just seems like
I think the first half will be close, like you said, but then the Samford defense, can the Samford offense help out the Samford defense somewhat? If you don't score, can you extend drives a little bit, help your defense out? But again, if the defense is out there for multiple extra plays, they're not going to hold up against Dickens in this offense.
It'll be like one of those Alabama blowouts where they beat you by 7 every quarter, and then by the end of the game, you're like, holy moly, what just happened?
Yeah.
But let's hope. I mean, let's just hope for a touchdown. Let's just hope for a touchdown offensively through the air, please.
Yeah, through the air, yeah.
And if we win, how awesome would that be? I mean, we would totally tank Western season, send him into a spiral.
Go.
Taryn's going to be wishing he would have transferred. I'm sure he had the opportunity to.
Oh,
but
we'd like to see a quarterback throw a touchdown pass. So if you've seen the running back work, I would like to see a quarterback
that's fair.
watch one of the wide receivers like Teddy Davenport on a wide receiver like pass, throw one to Quincy for a touchdown, and that's our touchdown.
Hey, if we win 7-0, I'll take it.
Yeah,
But
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, should be a
Let's get a
fun
quarterback
one.
touchdown. Yeah,
Should be a lot of fireworks in Cullowhee. Um,
let's hope so.
but not expecting a Bulldog win. Let's get to what happened around the SoCon. So this past weekend, as we mentioned, Elon beat Western 37-31. Bucknell over VMI 35-28. Rocco could not get it done. VMI's quarterback, though, Grant, top 10 in the FCS in passing yards with over 700 yards passing. So pretty fun for them.
Dang,
Wish they could have gotten the
you know it's
dub, but
I know it's bad when VMI's quarterback has more stats than Samford's quarterback.
well, you know,
That's how you know you're down bad.
hey, but we're Hatch Attack, baby. We're Hatch Attack. It's all about the brand. Furman over Campbell, 28-24. Only 2 wins for the SoCon this week, and that was one of them. The other one, UTC over Stetson, 63-0 over the Hatters. Mercer beating Wofford in a bottom of the barrel matchup, 22-21. What is going on at Mercer? Was my prediction just a year too early? D3 transfers don't actually turn out. What are we witnessing here? But scratching out a win, scratching out a win against a terrible, terrible Wofford squad. West Georgia, as you said earlier, Grant, over ETSU 35-31. And then Gardner Webb over Citadel 23-13. Games this week. Wofford at Virginia Tech could be interesting, considering Virginia Tech just fired Brent Fry, and that they are terrible.
Demolished by Old Dominion.
Exactly. Oh, they're terrible at football. I mean, they were in a dogfight with a South Carolina team that just got beat by Vanderbilt. VMI at Richmond. Mercer at Citadel. Can Mercer finally are they finally going to get a win in conference? And then Elon at ETSU. UTC at Tarleton State. That is the matchup of the weekend. The Mocs definitely getting some confidence against a really terrible Stetson team, but a nice tune-up for what should be a battle, but it's on the road out in Texas. So a long way to go for a non-conference FCS game. That's going to be the one to watch.
Yeah. I'm looking at the West Georgia ETSU box score. It's nice to know that Caden McNamara still puts up Iowa level stats even when playing for ETSU.
Bad is bad. Bad is bad.
Cade was 9 of 13 for 76 yards and 2 picks. I was like, that is the most on brand Iowa-esque Cade McNamara football game I've ever seen. Meanwhile, Criswell was 5 of 8 for 108 and 3 TDs. Some explosive plays. Longest was 33 yards. But yeah, Cade with those 2 P4 transfers and a quarterback. Then Widener had 3 picks as well, but he still threw for 263 and 3 TDs. All the turnovers, holy Lord.
He slings it though.
That's true.
How much do you think ETSU's paying Mac?
Good question. West Georgia in for 194 too.
Like $200K?
Yeah, it can be more than that. It's got to be something like that, yeah.
But he's so bad. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, tough. It's interesting box score. West Georgia, top 25 team.
Yes. Oh, that was the other thing. No SoCon schools in the FCS top 25. Tennessee Tech, an honorary SoCon member, is in the top 25. But no other SoCon squads.
Tarleton State's number 3 in the country. Citadel's going down to Tejas, take on number 3.
UTC.
UTC, yeah. Mercer was second receiving votes behind the Blue Hose at Presbyterian North, 3-0. And then that's the only ETSU with 18 votes. So those are the only 2 SoCon schools in the receiving votes category.
It's tough out there. SoCon is down bad. But Grant, hit us with women's soccer, State of the Bulldogs, soccer, volleyball, 2 programs that actually have conference championships in sight this fall.
Yeah, Samford soccer doesn't lose apparently. 2 draws this past weekend against Belmont and UAB. So many clean sheets. Let's see. That is 1, 2, 3, 4.
Defense is good.
Defense is good. That is 5, 5 clean sheets, 2 0-0 draws at Belmont and downtown Birmingham at UAB. They've got 2 home games this week, Western Carolina on Thursday, and then they lost the SoCon title 2 years ago, and then playing Chattanooga on Sunday. But yeah, a soccer team getting some getting not losing, but not winning either. But again, soccer, it's better to tie than it is to lose. Shout out to those two who think ties are an abomination to the sport. But yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we're gonna have to find some offense if we want to get past UTC. Western, we probably will be able to beat them 1-0 if we get the dub. But UTC is going to put up some points or some goals. Do soccer
Yeah,
fans get as upset as baseball fans when you use the term points, Grant?
yes, I'm pretty sure.
I
Pretty sure
feel
it's
like they
just
do.
goals.
Yeah,
Yeah, they do.
they do.
Yeah, one more thing on the UAB recap. Peyton Hole has not allowed a goal since August 24th when Samford played Alabama. So that's 462 minutes without allowing a goal, as Peyton was all conference last week. So
That's amazing.
yeah.
Dang. So yeah, soccer looking good. Honestly, correct me if I'm wrong, Grant, but it does seem like the latest iteration of Sanford's women's soccer squads have really predominantly been defensively focused. Has that always been the case?
No, I mean Samford has always had some studs that could score goals, even back to we were in school. Jermaine
That's what I
Siepis, in a
thought.
way,
That's what I thought.
was the baller. She played on South Africa's World Cup team, has been playing on their national team. But yeah, it has been more high scoring in previous years. Maybe it helped when you have that one significant player to put you over the top. But yeah, it has been more defensive focused in the last few years.
Yeah, I don't hate it. It looks
No.
just as effective.
Yeah, find new ways. Yeah.
Yeah, in an increasingly competitive conference. So,
Yeah.
2 big games. The UTC won, the one to watch, and then women's volleyball. So, girls continue to do their thing. Shea Bruntmeyer, SoCon Setter of the Week, interestingly did not play against North Alabama. No idea why, but that is a game we lost 2-1 on Tuesday. But the last 2 sets were really tight. But then in the Tennessee Tech tournament, went 2-1 with another big come from behind dub, down 2-0. Came back to win 3-2. That has got to be one of the more exciting comeback. Like volleyball presents similar to tennis, but in a very condensed format, maybe similar to women's tennis,
Yeah.
where the comeback feels like a storm back. Because maybe when it's 0-2 and you get to 1-2, you're like, all right. But then those last 2-2, 3-2, very fun, very fun. So we beat Tennessee Tech and Radford, losing to Wichita State in the very opening game. But fun Alabama challenge this weekend, Grant. A lot of squads in this one, all local. South Alabama, we take them on Thursday. Auburn on Friday, and then UAB on Saturday. So pretty exciting weekend for the women's volleyball squad. We'll see. Last week I was pretty confident we were going to go 2-1. This week I'm going to say 2-1 again. We lose to Auburn, but we beat South Alabama and UAB. So I like the 2-1. I think our team mentally bounces back. They're resilient. They play tough. They're hard out. Even in the sweep against UNA that we dropped, the last 2 sets came down to just a few points apiece. So I don't know. Volleyball's looking good. Grant, anything else? I guess Wofford's basketball coach got canned.
I was just about to say, Wofford again with another September basketball coaching change.
I mean, what is going on in Spartanburg?
Some weird dichotomy to where it's frowned upon to get those guys off campus housing when other teams don't have it, but it's also not good when your coach says we can pay for it through your NIL, but then the payments don't show. But I don't know how the coach gets fired for that when it's the administration.
There's some, if I had to guess, there's some other things going down.
Exactly. Yeah.
Maybe some money going where maybe it's not supposed to be, or into some pockets it wasn't promised to be in, and it found its way there. Who's to say?
Yeah, on the surface, it felt very minor to fire the head coach and your lead assistant over, right? There has to be something more.
Could also
underneath
be
that to where
political.
some
You
kind of
know,
offer pool.
maybe
Yeah,
maybe they just didn't like him, and this was enough of a cause to get him out of there without paying any buyout. Too much speculation to even try to speculate.
yeah, no
But
one knows.
a very fun situation to sit back and enjoy, just watching the fire burn
Yeah,
on
so we're not the
Wofford's
only
campus.
not the only basketball coaching change this
And
season. So
do you
Wofford.
think so? UCLA and Virginia Tech fired their coaches in football, and the portal opened immediately. Is that the same for basketball? So right now, are
Yeah,
those? Oh my goodness, are
yeah,
you
same thing.
serious?
So yeah, once a coach leaves or gets fired, players on that roster have up to 30 days to enter the portal if they want to. So they don't have to, obviously, but if they want to, they can. Doesn't matter. It could be well, right now September. It could be November, right? If your coach leaves or gets fired, you're free to enter the portal right away.
The next question, Grant, you may not know this. Eligibility wise, they probably wouldn't be able to play until the spring semester began academically.
Yeah.
But it seems like if they enter the portal now, enrolled at the next school, they might miss the first 15 games of the season, but then they play in 2025? Or I guess it'd be
That's
2026.
2026. That's a good question. I would assume you couldn't, but again, we have seen players circumvent the portal. Which, so I'm not entering the portal. I'm just leaving.
I'm leaving the
I'm just
school.
leaving the school and enrolling somewhere else. The
That's what that Miami kid did.
Wisconsin DB did that. Yeah, that's who it was.
Or
Xavier.
from Wisconsin to
Yeah,
Miami.
Xavier Joyner or something like that. Then obviously Redslav, Tulane's quarterback. That was a different
Oh, yeah.
circumstance with
He's so good.
BYU. But
He's
yeah,
gonna tear it up in the American.
yeah. So I don't think you can. I think you have to wait till the next season in 2026. That would make most sense, right? Because what if Nico was like, oh, I'm jumping the portal, see ya, then I'm going to Hawaii or whatever to help them
Yeah,
this
it's
season or
different
something
with
like that.
football, I guess, because it seems like there's a little more regulation.
Yeah,
Basketball, I don't know. I don't know.
yeah.
It really spans two academic semesters. Football really just one. Um, Something to monitor. I don't know. I would imagine that
I
most
don't
of
know.
those cats are going to be hitting the portal, especially if their NIL checks are bouncing. Then that's all the only
Yeah,
reason you're there. Because why else would you want to go be an ankle biter in
yeah.
Spartanburg, South Carolina?
Yeah, then if you can't go to another school right away, you jump in the portal, red shirt, and then you keep your year. So there's that too. So
That's right.
it's
Well, anything else,
tough
Grant?
tough for UCLA to fire their football coach. They haven't even started school yet because they're on the quarter system.
I don't understand anything about that. I just don't. Nico needs
To
to
lose to New
develop
Mexico by
another
4
brain
scores.
cell,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
maybe he'll make wiser decisions next go around. But safe to say he will probably not be back at UCLA next season
No,
unless
no.
John Gruden is the coach.
Watch him go to like Kentucky or something. But like I'm just going to full revenge tour, going to Kentucky or something
Vanderbilt.
dumb.
Diego Pavia runs
Yeah,
out of
there you go.
eligibility. They bring
There you
in
go.
Nico,
Yeah.
and he takes the program right back to the bottom. But anyway,
Yeah.
we got Western Carolina this weekend. Go Dogs, please. Looking for the first win. Looking for the first quarterback throwing touchdown.
Oh Lord, yeah, please.
The future is not bright, but it could be made brighter with a nice dub in Cullowhee, and it's always going to beat the Catamounts. So let's go Bulldogs. Let's go Quincy. Let's get a touchdown, baby. State of the Bulldogs is out.